Hello, I'm Brandon Marcello. This is Joel A. Erickson. We're going to talk a little bit about a issue Auburn's been facing, especially on the road. It's penalties. Auburn had 13 penalties for 145 yards at Ole Miss. Hurt them a lot, especially on defense. It happened to help extend 3 scoring drives, including 2 touchdowns. The most penalties they've had in 12 years.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah, 12 years,
Wow.
2002, and an overtime loss in Gainesville against Florida. Having said that, let's focus on the road issues. Why do you think this is happening a lot on the road, especially defensively?
Yeah, I noticed when I was going through some stats this afternoon that 25 of Auburn's 53 penalties this season have come out in their 3 road games. Clearly a big swing there.
And over half against Ole Miss.
Yeah, over half of those against Ole Miss. On the road, you wonder if maybe you get amped up, you're trying to make a big play. All their games on the road have been huge games. And you wonder if some of those things where you get a little bit, you try to do a little bit more, and sometimes when you try to do a little bit more, you do a little bit more at the wrong time.
Like the late hits. Auburn had 3 late hits, 2 on defense. 1 was against Ricardo Lewis on a return on special teams, defensive holding penalties, personal fouls, face masks, things of that sort. I mean, it was a variety of penalties. It wasn't like, illegal motion again. It was a variety of things, and some of them were tough to call, but a lot of them were pretty clear. Of things, defensive holding, obviously the late hits. These are issues they've got to kind of look at, and as you said, and even Ellis Johnson said it Sunday night, they've got to kind of tell the guys, calm down a little bit. You want to be aggressive, you don't want to be too aggressive.
The other thing Auburn's got to worry about, even before this last game, 13 penalties obviously dropped them from the middle of the SEC standings, and penalty flags called, if that makes any sense, from middle of the pack down to the bottom. But before that, coming into the game, they were last in the SEC in penalty yards, even well being in the middle in number of times they were called, which suggests that the penalties they're getting aren't, some things like false starts, offsides, you can kind of live with a little bit, and they're pretty easily fixable. They're pass interferences, big yardage plays, really concerns you going forward.
And on third down. That's troubling. That's not just an Ole Miss thing. That was a South Carolina thing, Mississippi State thing. Not good. And third and longs even, getting bailed out. When you look at Auburn's defense, this doesn't really deal with the penalties, but they had 2 drives Ole Miss did where they finished with negative yards. But then they get back on the field and they get one big play, and then all of a sudden Auburn commits a penalty on it or something like that. It's just very weird. A little bit of frustration probably creeping up with the defense at times.
It'll be interesting to see what Malzahn says about that on Tuesday. He mentioned it without being prompted in the post-game press conference. You'd think that'd be obvious given how many there were, but a little bit out of character for him to just go straight to that. So I wonder if it'd be interesting to ask him if they're doing more of an emphasis. I don't know. I'm assuming they can probably bring refs in at this point, but doing some stuff to kind of try to do it. Because if it's a problem on the road, it's going to be big because Amen Corner is looming.
Yes. More coverage at AL.com.